A small disclaimer. I get a bit opinionated in this video. It's such a dumb, broken Pokemon, and the fact that it's fairy type means that every time I see this dog, I want to beat it with a crowbar. Zarude. More like Zarude Sandstorm. So viewer discretion advised. I know I promised a lot of you guys that I'd do a Andrew Tate video. Well, I lied. Yeah, it turns out that, unfortunately, last year was Formula 1, and although I'm 100% interested in Formula 1 this year, the championship's already over, and we're already in Singapore, so, or I guess, Japan. But anyways, my new thing that I'm on is Pokemon. I'm gonna fill a entire lost part of my childhood, because I could never, afford a 3DS, once I got the Wii, so I've decided to play through basically all the Pokemon games in the past, like, 2 months or so, and I've gotten through quite a bit. I've gotten through Emerald, Platinum, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, didn't touch Gen 6, I played part of Black and White 2, Ultra Sun and Moon, didn't touch Gen 8, but I watched the competitive scene. Point is, I'm very opinionated on Pokemon now. To me, it's as important as politics. So, after doing a lot of investigation on, like, the cool Pokemon that I liked as a kid, like the TV show and stuff, and, like, what kind of new cancer that they've introduced in the new games, I thought I should segregate them. I understand that the ethical question of if sentient Pokemon can be segregated in the same negative way that humans can is an important question. Unfortunately, I don't give a fuck. I think it's just important for me to go, putting the Pokemon I like separate from the Pokemon that I don't like. Most of you guys will probably see a trend emerge.
Don't shoot him! Let him burn!
It'd be really weird if all the Pokemon I didn't like had a very specific set of character traits that'd be really identifiable from a long distance. I'll get started. I recognize most of these. I think there's not anyone in here that I don't recognize. I think it's a bit of a problem that, like, after 2 months playing Pokemon, I recognize these more than, like, the people I meet every day in my life. I know the names of all of these, but I'd forget people that I met, like, I don't know, 2 years ago. That's not good. Okay. This is Glarion Articuno. I like the concept of regional forms. I think it's done pretty well in Pokemon in general. By the way, for my criteria for ranking, it's both, like, competitive viability, like how you can use it, like, in competitive versions, but also, like, if they look cool. Like, I don't care if a Pokemon is really good if it looks kind of cancer. It's going in the D tier. First thing off the top of my head, I think is Heatran. So there you go. So this is a psychic flying type Glarion Articuno. I think it looks pretty sick. Like, to me, I look at this thing, and the first thing I think about is, like, a James Bond looking, like, it's got, like, the spy glasses on and stuff. It's not a good typing. It's not really competitively viable either, but it looks pretty nice. I think it's pretty cool. So I'll go in the A tier. Articuno, Articuno is a fucking sideman, bro. Like, this thing has no competitive viability. It's legendary. It's old, but, like, as with most old stuff, it's phased out. It's got no place here. I think it's, like, straight D tier. I don't think it has a particularly good design either. It doesn't age really well. Zapdos, I think, is really cool. I think it's got a pretty nice, like, move that, like, lowers the defense, which is pretty neat in the current metagame. It's just that it has so many weaknesses, because it's weak to electric, it's weak to I think it's weak to flying, even though it's part flying type. It's flying fighting. It's weak to fairy. It's weak to psychic. It's weak to it's not weak to rock. It's weak to ice though. Like, yeah, it's got so many weaknesses that are common types, especially like Calyrex running around. It's not a good pick. So I would say C tier. It looks sick. I love it. I think Roadrunners are pretty neat birds. Original Zapdos. Like, this thing is, like, such a valid Pokemon. Like, I think it came out, like, some 30-ish years ago. It's still good. I mean, look at that. It's an electric bird. Like, you could appeal to me at 9 years old with the same concept as you would to me at 21, and I wouldn't bat an eye. Like, it's a cool electric bird that shoots lightning. Hell yeah. I mean, that's A tier right there. Galarian Moltres. I like the color scheme. Red and black is my shit. I know what you're thinking. That's not what I meant. It's not my fault that he used the same color palette, okay? But this is signature Krishna color palette as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, red and black is my favorite color. I love dark type. I think it's really nice. And dark flying is a pretty neat combo. They really only overlap as a weakness to bug, but it's got good special defense and bulk. It's got fiery wrath, which is an excellent move. It can cause a flinch. I think this thing is best placed with, like, safety goggles or choice specs. You don't really have to build for speed, but if you want to, you can Gigantamax and Max Airstream and stuff. I think it's pretty neat. Yeah, so, like, just honestly, just for the reason that it's black and white, straight to S. Okay, this thing, A lot of people have compared it to fried chicken, and I can't unsee it now. Yeah, it really does look like fried chicken. Regular old Moltres, like the design did not age well. I really feel like I could make my own Moltres by setting a chicken on fire and throwing it in the sky, and for that reason, I'm out. This is D tier. Okay, this is Mega Mewtwo Y, X, and regular old Mewtwo. Regular old Mewtwo is like, it's a pretty neat design. I'm not like super into it. I think it's a pretty. I'm not a fond of like the little massage hand, like those like little like vibrating massage thingies, like like they have a little ball prong things on the end. That sounds so weird. You know what I mean though. I don't like that shape. I think it looks a little strange. Same goes for these two Mewtwo's. I don't think they're like great designs, and I mean sure they're competitively broken. They're the only stat comparisons to Rayquaza, I think, and the only difference is they need an item. Rayquaza doesn't. But yeah, I'm not a particular fan. I don't think that they like bring anything to the game, and they were part of the Mega Evolution thing, and they're competitively broken, absolutely. But yeah, I think they're good Pokemon. They've got good stories, but I don't think they're like A tier level. Mew, it's cute, but it goes in the same tier. I don't like. It's supposed to be the progenitor of all Pokemon, which is pretty nice. But it's Psychic type, and it's like if the progenitor of all Pokemon was like normal or Dragon, I'd get that. I don't think Psychic is a particularly like fear-inducing type. So yeah, I don't know. It's just cute. It's nice, but it's not Pikachu. Although I don't really like Pikachu either. So there you go. Raikou, electric cat dog saber-tooth thing, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's A tier. It's a good design. I think I like its typing. Electric is one of my favorite types. And it basically it's a lightning bolt shaped design. I like it. It's a tiger saber-tooth cat thing. Again, if it works for mid age 9, it'll work for mid age 21. That's a cool looking design. I love it. And same goes for Entei. I think it's like a dog fire cat thing, and it shoots fire near volcanoes. Like that. What more do I need? It's a good typing. It also gets Sacred Fire, which has a 50% burn chance. So when you're going against things like Groudon or other like Zacian, I mean, apart from landing super effective damage on Zacian, but like for those like heavy attack mons, you can get a 50% gem burn on them. And if you invest in your bulk, you can probably take a hit from Groudon and effectively counter with your own burn attack and cut their attack in half. We're getting like kind of into the mechanics of the game here, but anyways, cool Pokemon, has pretty good viability. I can't not put it in A tier. Suicune, yeah, sorry, C tier. I don't really like it. It's a neat design, but I never really got it. Why are the tail ribbons like? Why are its tails like birthday party ribbons? I never got that. It's a strange design. Like you've got these two absolute like saber-tooth beasts, and this thing has got a freaking like pedestal attached to its head, or like a not a pedestal. What's that thing called? A sundial. That's the one. Yeah, it got a sundial attached to its head. I don't understand that. It's a weird design. Also, it's blue. I hate the color blue in general. You can probably see the diametrical opposition between two blues and a lot of red. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Lugia. I just said I hate the color blue. I lied. Lugia is probably one of my favorite legendaries. I think it's pretty nice. I played Soul Silver. Don't ask how. I definitely played it 100% legally with all regionally available Pokemon. It'd be weird if I hacked the game, a child's game, to go get Pokemon I liked because the game didn't have ones I liked. But I think Lugia is a very nice legendary. I like it over Ho-Oh's design, which brings me to my next one. I think Ho-Oh is pretty good. It has a better typing than Lugia. I don't really like Psychic. Lugia is Psychic flying, and this is Fire flying, which is a much better typing because Fire is weak to ground, but Flying gives you the immunity, and you have a 4 times weakness to Rock, but you can invest in your physical bulk into Ho-Oh. Whereas with Lugia, like you have such little minimal attacking power, it doesn't really have any options to fight. But I'm really just ranking this based on like looks. I think Lugia looks absolutely sleek and powerful, and the designer made it like a drunken spell. Like he was high off his ass when he made this. He was like on like I think like 8 or 9 shots of vodka. He was doing drugs. After he made this thing, he was hospitalized. And he had this entire like revelation on like how the world didn't care about him now that he was old. Is weird, but apparently drugs give you cool Pokemon designs like this. I can't tell kids to do drugs, but at the same time, I can't say that it's all negative consequences. I'm looking at a positive one. Celebi. Absolutely fucking not. This thing is grass psychic. It's a weak type. I'm not really fond of it. It looks kind of cute. It's supposed to like run through time or whatever. I never really cared about it. I don't think it's very. It looks like celery. Celebi. I think they were going for the name, but I hate celery. Nobody likes celery. So yeah, no, absolutely not. That's a no. The Reggie's based. Love them. Immediately A tier. All of them. Actually, Registeel is S tier because Steel type is freaking awesome. And also, these two are weak to steel, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, I think these are great designs. I think that they have good typing, like Ice Age, Stone Age, Iron Age sort of thing. And like the amount of work you had to go through to get them in like Pokemon Emerald was insane. Like you need to like read Braille and have two specific Pokemon in like different slots of your deck. It's insane how much work you have to put in just to get these goddamn things. So honestly, I think like for an Easter egg like that, where you get these amazing legendaries, I think the story behind it is pretty neat. They're not competitively viable because this thing is weak to fire and ground. And this thing is weak to, fighting too. And this thing is weak to fighting. This thing is weak. They're all weak to fighting. This thing is weak to ground too. And this thing is weak to fighting, fire. It's weak to a lot of other stuff too. I'm forgetting rock. What else is it weak to? I think that's it for ice. I don't think it's weak to anything else. But it's resisted by a lot of things, which I think is rather strange. Anyways, I don't think it's a particularly good typing. It's what holds them back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put them in the B tier for that. You get demoted. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I think Registeel is 8. I love it. It's just such a great Pokemon. Megalatios, I think this is Megalatios, at least based on the way they're ordered. I'm going to put them in the same place. I don't like that these two look the same. It's really confusing. I know they're supposed to be twin Pokemon, like the Eon twins or whatever. I don't like Latios just because I can't say the internet, but I don't like Latios. It's a defensive Pokemon, and I don't like defensive Pokemon. It's like a dragon, and dragons are awesome. I love dragons. I think that it's the best type out there. But at the same time, it's a defensive type dragon. I don't think it's particularly useful because dragon has basically only 2 weaknesses to begin with, and investing a lot in defense doesn't make sense to me. Especially because what it's weak to aren't really physical attackers. It's weak to, I think, dark. It's weak to bug. It's weak to fairy, and a lot of like moonblasts and stuff or dark pulses. You're really looking at special attackers. So I'm not sure if it's sorry. Flip, Darkest Lariat, Play Rough is what I meant. Anyways, yeah, I don't think it's a particularly good Pokemon. I'm not a huge fan of it. These two, I love these, mainly because I played them in Oras, and you can fly around the Hoenn region on the back of a dragon Pokemon. That's absolutely amazing. I'm glad Game Freak came up with that. I enjoyed it for all of the 2 minutes that I played the end game in that game. I really just sort of ran through all these games. Like I played them as fast as I can, and like I did shortcuts where I could. I was just trying to like get through as many as I can as fast as I could. A speed run, if you will, with whatever time a college student has. So yeah, I really did like this concept though. Like I thought Latios was the obviously cooler of the two designs. Even though I know I said I'd like red over blue, this is one of the few exceptions I'll give, just because this is a bigger, cooler Pokemon, and it's more offensive, and this one's defensive, and offense is cool. Kyogre, I don't really like Kyogre. I think it's a pretty super cool Pokemon. I'll put both of them here. Primal is such a great upgrade to this design. You get less killer whale vibes and like the glowing orange orb thingamabobs inside its body. It gives it such a more powerful vibe. And like, I mean, I think it's a testament to say that like since Kyogre was introduced all those years ago in like 2003 or something, it's still competitively viable. Like because of the water spout attack that it gets and Origin Pulse. Once you set up the rain, basically even Pokemon that resist it takes stupid amounts of damage. It's borderline broken. I think with Origin Pulse, like you also nerf fire attacks, so you could like throw a Ferrothorn next to it, or something that was like super weak to fire, and basically have it protected because nothing from Primordial Sea could touch it. Also, you can equip it with Thunder, and once you set up your own Rain, because every time it switches in, it brings Rain onto the stadium, so your Thunder now never misses instead of just getting 70% hit chance. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I think that it's one of the nicer weather trios, but it's blue. And Groudon is red. Also, Groudon has fire and lava. And I think just like from a basal brain 9-year-old cool perspective, I think Groudon's far cooler. Both of them go in the S tier. Like when I saw Primal Groudon, I absolutely lost my mind. I think it was like when did it come out? Like 2014. That was the 13. Yeah. So when I first saw like Primal Groudon on like the Pokemon trailer or whatever, I absolutely lost my mind. Like that was the most insane Pokemon I'd ever seen. Like there was like fire coming out of this and stuff. Like regular old Groudon, I did not like. I thought it looked like a weird like hunched over dinosaur design. I wasn't like particularly scared by it. I was like, right, this thing. What has it got? I really don't see the appeal of it. It looks like something I'd catch on like I don't know, like the second route of a game. But I think like Primal Groudon absolutely does not give that vibe. Like that is such a powerful beast of a Pokemon. I love it. I think the fire typing that they added and the fact that Desolate Land, the ability that it gets, removes all water type attacks from the Pokemon game while it's in. I think that's insane. I think that's a kind of broken, overpowered, fiery monstrosity that I'd expect from the creature that made land. Mega Rayquaza, I'm gonna put it in the A tier. I mean, it's broken. It is. When it was there, I mean, I know it's not in the game anymore, but when it was there, it was absolutely broken. I think regular Rayquaza. I think I'm actually gonna separate these. Regular Rayquaza is super cool. I know my friends talked about it a lot. Like when I was like 5 and 6, all my friends were like a couple years older than me, so they played Emerald for a long time at that point, and all of them were talking about like Sky Pillar and how they had to go there to get Rayquaza. I had no idea what they were talking about. So far as I was concerned, they were talking in a foreign language, and I had to like sit down on their Game Boy, and that's how I first came in to like understand what Pokemon was, because I had to like sit down with them and see their little sprite go to Spear Pillar or Sky Pillar to get this little Rayquaza thingamabob, and I was absolutely blown away. That like you could go and catch this giant green dragon monstrosity and make it fight battles for you. So, like, just for nostalgia reasons, obviously Rayquaza ranks pretty high. I think the Mega Rayquaza form, actually I'm going to switch them, because I have more nostalgia for this version of Rayquaza than this one. And this one is downright broken. I don't think the design is pretty good. I'm not a huge fan. I think these weird, like, fork-looking things at the front are weird. I mean, they turned Rayquaza into basically a silverware. It's green, but it looks like silverware. Like I'd expect to stretch my Rayquaza out and like stick it into like a cube of like tofu or some shit to eat. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's weirdly shaped. Jirachi, I know it's steel type, which means it's based. I'll put it in C. It doesn't have to be in D. I know nothing else about it. Apparently, if you write stuff on its little like earring thingamabobs, it'll make them come true in 20,000 years. I don't know. I'm not gonna be around for 20,000 years, and I think it's a particularly good gimmick. Deoxys Forms. Okay, I think this is the attack form Deoxys. This is the normal form Deoxys, and this is the defense form Deoxys, and this is the speed form Deoxys. The speed and attack forms are really cool looking. I think they look absolutely. Those are amazing designs. They look real menacing. The music for Deoxys is fire too. I'm sorry, like when I heard the music for Deoxys in Oras, I was absolutely losing my mind. Like this super cool alien Pokemon comes out of the sky, and I have to go fight it now. Listen to this bop. I don't want to fight it. I'm just gonna wait here and listen to the song 100 times before I finally capture it in a Master Ball. But holy cow, I love this one. It was an amazing Pokemon. I don't like the defense form just because it looks weird and bulbous, and I don't like the way it looks. I also don't like playing defense, if you guys couldn't tell. I'm a very hyper offense kind of person, so yeah, I'm not particularly a good fan of those. These, I don't remember anything about these except that in Platinum, they somehow evolved the plot by making irritating sounds. They would like appear in front of you and make these like weird cat noises, and then they progressed the plot. And that really pissed me off. I don't like these at all. They're supposed to be like represent like willpower, knowledge, and memories, or some crap like that. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, they represent poor design and trash. I don't like them at all. Fucking Sidemen, all D tier. They're psychic type, all of them. Again, not one of my favorite type. I'm glad that they progressed the plot. I really don't think that they really added much relevance. I wasn't like, oh my god, cool legendary. Like, okay, listen, you look at Moltres, you look at Groudon, and you look at Deoxys, and you look at these three and tell me, yes, they have equal relevance and importance. Yes, I can see in design that these are meant to be the same as the. Yeah, no, they're clearly like Sidemen. Get out of here. Dialga is straight S tier. Actually, we're gonna make another tier above this. Okay, we'll make it red, and we'll add a row above. Neat, and we'll call this one. Let's see. We'll call it. Got it. We'll call it based. That's the one. Okay, we'll call it the base tier. Dialga straight to base tier. I love it. I think it's an amazing Pokemon. I know it's not super overpowered. It's only got 2 weaknesses to fighting and ground. It also has Roar of Time, which like the only Pokemon movie I've ever watched was like in 2007, like the Rise of Darkrai or whatever, and these two slugged it out. And Dialga beat the shit out of Palkia at the time, which I really liked because Dialga is blue and cool and has steel. It's a steel dragon type. two of my favorite types, which is awesome. And Palkia is Water Dragon. I don't really like water. Also, Palkia is pink. Ew. What kind of boy would ever pick that? Lol. So yeah, Palkia. I'm sorry, straight to C tier. Not one of my favorites. But yeah, Dialga is supposed to represent time. Palkia is supposed to represent space. They really were good in Platinum. I thought they were well worked into the quote unquote story. Whatever you'd get from a Pokemon game. Let's be honest, we play because we can capture cool animals and make them beat the shit out of each other, like dog fighting on steroids. But I really like Dialga. The design is awesome. I think that it has an amazing attack. It's only got 2 weaknesses. Palkia does too. Only got 2 weaknesses. But I think the sell is that you can equip weakness policy in this thing, and people are so tempted to use like fighting and ground type moves that they'll activate your weakness policy, double your attack, double your special attack, and basically set this thing onto a monstrous rampage that'll melt all of their team with one shot. It's amazing. It gets access to a good coverage move pool. You can use a Flash Cannon, Earth Power, Roar of Time, Fire Blast. Like it's got such a wide move pool that it really can do anything. It's got Trick Room too. I know it's not particularly fast. Palkia is a lot faster, but this is such a good Trick Room setter because it is much slower than Palkia is. You don't have to invest in lowering your speed. Whereas with Palkia, you might be faster than some other Pokemon. Heatran. I already talked about Heatran. Straight cancer. This thing looks like it was a shit that caught on fire. I really can't think of anything else. It's Steel Fire. One of my favorite type combinations out there. I think it's the only Steel Fire Pokemon. And I was so fucking disappointed to find out that this is what a Steel Fire type looks like. It literally looks like a pile of shit. It got like some trash got stuck on it and it was lit on fire. I don't understand why they thought that like this and this should exist in the same game. Like there's any comparison between the two. So yeah, straight trash. Regigigas. Regigigas is Giga Waste. I fucking hate it. Yeah, no. I don't see the appeal of it at all. Sorry, it was supposed to be in lower. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I don't see the appeal of it at all. Just because it's supposed to be the controller it's supposed to form the other Regis. So Regi Steel, Regi Ice, Regi Rock. It's supposed to have shaped and made them. But also, it's terrible in game. It has this thing called Slow Start, where at the start of every game, Regigigas takes 5 turns with like half attack and half speed. I don't know why they made the supposed like monster and controller of all Regis such a pathetic Pokemon. It's normal type. It's weak to fighting. It doesn't have like super duper good move coverage. It does everything so weirdly, so poorly. It's nerfed to shit and doesn't even have a good design. I don't think it's got like an eye-catching, appealing design like say Latios or Lugia or Dialga or Groudon or Moltres have. So like I don't know. I think they dropped the ball on this one. I'm not convinced that it's got any importance. Giratina Altered Form. Giratina is one of the coolest Pokemon ever. Like when you see that thing in Platinum, like especially like when I saw it on my friend's DS, like way back in like 2009 or 10, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Because at the time, like that kind of graphics for like a handheld game was unbelievable. So I was honestly kind of disappointed to see like this weird centipede creature thing. Like once you catch it in the distortion world and you fight it with it in the regular world, it's a weird centipede-looking caterpillar thing with wings that clearly don't help it fly. So I don't understand what they were going for here. If it's supposed to look out of place in our world, yeah, it definitely does. I don't like it at all. Also, it's defensively oriented, which again I don't like. The opposite of that, A tier or base tier. Sorry, so I didn't want to make that mistake. Base tier immediately. Giratina Origin Form has got to be one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I mean, this thing is an absolute monster. I love like how much like force it has. Those little like claw tendril things in Legends Arceus, they turn this thing's signature attack into probably one of those coolest things I've ever seen. Shadow Force, where it, like it uses weird like tendril claw things like tear open a portal and then come. I don't know. Look. The fear and terror that I expect to get from a proper legendary Pokemon, I get from this. It's supposed to be like the Pokemon version of Satan. I feel it. Cresselia. I mean, it's competitively viable, but again, it's a psychic type, and it's like, it's moon. I don't like anything with moon symbolism. I think that shit makes it look weak, especially because the moon is swallowing the earth, and, you know, the tides, tide cycles. Yeah, yikes, so powerful. Manaphy, water, that's all it's got. It's got some pretty nice moves, like Tail Glow, apparently. But I don't think it's particularly appealing. Darkrai, oh my god, yeah. I'll put Darkrai here. Darkrai is a dark type, which obviously, I love dark type. I think it's a super nice type. It beats the shit out of Psychic. I think that with Darkrai, the design of like a warrior samurai type Pokemon, with like these like wispy white hair that like gives you bad dreams, goes through walls and like you just causes all kinds of havoc. That's so nice. Also was in the movie, the same movie with Dialga and Palkia, so I remember it from that. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Shaman, I don't like grass types. Period. I don't think they're cool. It goes into D tier. It's just a small, cuddly, squishy Pokemon. Arceus is literally God. So it's gonna go in the base tier. I really think that it was a good design. It looks a little bit like a llama, I get that, but the mythos that they created around it, like you really do have to respect it as like the God Pokemon. And Legend Arceus, I really did think did it. Sorry, Legend Arceus really did do it justice. The Judgment move and the fact that it can change to any type in the game based on what item you give it. It was a really cool gimmicks for the time, and I really did love this Pokemon. It's got great stat totals. Yeah, it's absolutely good. Victini. Yeah, I'm not sure. Although Baylor football could definitely use Victini, because apparently if you hold this thing, you get instant power for victory. Yeah, Cobalion, I did not like these. A lot of the Gen 5 Pokemon, I did not like. I think Gen 5 gets way too much good press right now. Everyone's going through their nostalgia phase, and they're like, Gen 5 was so revolutionary. Oh my god, it had a story. If you play Pokemon for the story, you watch porn for the plot. You fucking moron. You're missing the point. Gen 5, it was such a weird generation. I think it departed from a lot of the good trends that Pokemon had. There were a lot of things that needed to change in Pokemon, and Gen 5 did none of them, and Gen 6 made it worse. Anyways, I don't think these were particularly good. I don't remember these from the game. They were irrelevant for the plot, and they were just sort of there. I'll bump this up because it's Steel type, but these two I don't like. Okay, this is Tornadus, and it's the only pure flying type in the game, which is I think is really strange. But anyways, Tornadus goes here. I think it's a good design. I like the eagle, and I don't know. I hate this thing. I don't like their genie looks. Reshiram looks soft and pathetic. I hate it. Also, what's that weird thing coming out from the middle of its butt? What is that, guys? What were you designing? What the hell? This is a kid's game. Get the shit. Censor that crap. Yeah. I think Reshiram is weird. I use it because it's Fire Dragon. It could have been such a cool typing, but they dropped the ball with this like weird, fluffy, like soft looking thing. Also, it's got a fucking jet in its ass. That looks so weird. Zekrom has a similar problem where I think it's really cool, but at the same time, it's also such a nice typing, Electric Dragon, but it's got a weird like bee stinger thing stuck in the middle of its tail. It looks so weird. Also, these wings don't help it fly. Its claws can't hit anything because they're like embedded within larger hands. It's such a weird. It looks cool, but the moment you spend any time lingering on either of these two designs, they don't really hold up to me. Styrian broke the game. It can go fuck itself. C tier. Also, this thing looks ugly. I don't like the weird T things on their head, like the little like white like little block thing above. I don't like those. I think those look weird. Kyurem Black, absolutely A tier. It's such a dope design. It takes everything good from Zekrom and makes it a little bit better. So I think it goes in the high end of A tier. As a matter of fact, I think I'd shift these two. This goes in the bottom end. There you go. Yeah. And then Kyurem White. I would say that probably goes in the end of. It's better than Reshiram. Yeah, but it looks a lot like Reshiram, and I'm really not buying that it's like a particularly good Pokemon. It looks just so wispy and weak. Although it looks a lot stronger than Reshiram does. A lot less like squishy and soft and like kind. Reshiram looks like it'll ask your permission to rob you. Yeah, I don't like it. Kyurem, regular Kyurem. It looks pathetic and broken. I know it's supposed to be, but my god, you have to make me at least want to catch this thing, my guy. It literally looks like, okay, so half of its like side is bigger than the other. That looks so pathetic. Kyurem White also has this weird thing where it looks like a misformed T-Rex. Like if there was like a failed abortion on a T-Rex, that's what Kyurem would look like. I hate this thing. Utter trash. Keldeo. I remember this from like 30 seconds of the movie that I watched, and it sounded like a bitchy, whiny son of a piece of shit. Yeah, no way. Meloetta, I know nothing about, but it looks like it's a singing Pokemon, and I hate musicals, so straight D tier. Genesect. It's got a laser thing on its back. I think it's like Bug Steel type. That's what I know. Steel type based. So we'll put it in the C tier. Well, I'll give it that upgrade. I think it's like a discount Arceus. I'm not particularly like fond of it. I think the typing is good because it only has one weakness to fire. And again, you can't really put weakness policy on it because it has one weakness, but it's 4x weakness, and you'll die before the weakness policy activates. Xerneas, oh my god. Xerneas. Okay, we need to make another tier for this. Add row below. We'll make it blue, because I hate blue. Or that's purple, same thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, blue. There you go. Okay. This is going to be the AIDS tier. Okay, cool. Xerneas. This is a fairy type. They introduced fairy type this generation, and instead of just letting them be background mons with no particular rules, they decided to make it a legendary. This thing gets a broken move with Geomancy, where it basically doubles all of its important stats in one turn with Power Herb. It's so broken. It's a goddamn deer, a fairy. I feel like I could a stiff breeze to break this goddamn thing's legs. Nothing would make me happier than to hit this thing with on the highway. That, you know what? There you go. That's my manifest destiny right there. I wish to hit Xerneas on the highway going 140 miles per hour in an SUV. Then only will there be world peace. I hate this. I hate fairy Pokemon. I spend time in each game going around in the wild Pokemon grass areas where fairy type Pokemon spawn just to beat the shit out of them. I know you can't drive Pokemon to extinction. I know I can't commit fairy type genocide, but in my heart of hearts, even though there are infinite Pokemon, I really do believe that me killing hundreds of them in the wild will make a difference and do my part to erase them from the face of the earth. Fuck you, Xerneas, you piece of shit. On that note, Yveltal, straight to beast. Black and red, dark type, flying type, Oblivion Wing. Such a great attack. You regain 70% of the health you deal to your enemy. It's such a cool Pokemon. And the cry, I had chills when I heard that. I never played the game because I just know because I got it from Ultra Sun and Moon. But I had to look it up because apparently it's the Pokemon of death. This is the Pokemon of life. This is the Pokemon of AIDS though. Fuck that. But this, oh man, what a good Pokemon. I love it. And the fact that they managed to make this shape like an X and this shape like a Y, it really goes to good design. I love it. That's an awesome Pokemon. Zygarde, I don't really have an opinion on. I'm going to stick them all here. They're cute. They're dragons. They're not AIDS, unlike Xerneas. Fuck you. Diancie. What's Diancie's typing? I have no idea. I know it's rock something. Rock Fairy. Yes, sorry, Diancie. You go straight to AIDS. You know you have no love. Fuck you. I have no way. This is Hoopa. It like makes shit teleport. I know because in the Oras games, like whenever you caught these legendaries in Oras, they would appear in little hoops at the middle of the end game. So yeah, I'll put them here. I don't like it. I think it's supposed to be like based off GD or whatever, and I don't like that story. Like the Arabian Nights story. I think they're all hella boring. Volcanion. I don't get it. It reminds me of the little thing in Star Wars where Anakin's cruiser would dock before it jetted off. Like this was like from Clone Wars when I was like 10 or something like that. I don't quite remember. But yeah, I really don't get this one. It could have been cool. He had so much potential as water fire typing, but you dropped the ball. Sorry, Game Freak. It goes with the fried chicken. Type Null and Sylveon. Type Null is basically a devolved version of Sylveon, so Type Null would be here. Sylveon's like discount Arceus, but it's a pretty good design, I think. I'd put it up there. Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is so cool. I know it's fairy type. I know it's shit. But it's electric type too. And it's really fast. It's got a lot of energy. It's vibrant. It steps up like this super cool golden electric terrain. I think it's really nice. I'll put it in B. It goes ahead of Kyurem White. This is Psychic Fairy Tapu Lulu, I think. What kind of fucking names are these? Anyways, this is Tapu Bulu. This is Tapu Lele. Sorry, this is Tapu Bulu. This is Grass Fairy, and I really don't like it, so we'll go here. And Tapu Fini, I hate this thing. Water Fairy. I hope to run all these fairy types over with a bus. I hate them so much, because here's the reason why. I love dragon types, right? And fairy types are super effective against dragon, and they're also immune to dragon attacks completely. They nerf the shit out of dragon, and they're so OP because they're only weak to poison and steel. I hate them. I hate them. They deserve nothing good in the world. Pieces of shit. Cosmoem. Yeah, they literally do nothing. They're just sort of there, and they're supposed to be with your player, I think, until they evolve into Solgaleo, a lion sun Pokemon that's made of steel. It's a steel type, based. Right up there with the top. Like, these are the legendaries that I look at the box and be like, yeah, I'd get those. Those look so sick. If you get Lunala, that's because you have a father who didn't love you, or you're like a fucking goth emo kid or some shit like that. Go fuck yourself. You're wrong. You're just wrong. You're looking at like a bright white, like powerful Sunsteel Pokemon versus a ghost dark bat. That looks like I could kill it with a toothpick, like just poking holes in its wings. I don't know why you would ever pick that. Duskmane, and yeah, I think the same goes with the Necrozma fusion things. I obviously Solgaleo, the Necrozma version. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's as good a design as the original Solgaleo, so I'll put it here. But it's much better than whatever the shit Lunala has going on here. But come on, guys, I told you don't put toothpicks in that thing. Now you just stuck toothpicks everywhere. Ultra Necrozma, it was cool. I didn't think it was a particularly nice gimmick. It was just an overpowered Pokemon for its time, and it's got those weird pointy things in its legs. Regular Necrozma, I thought it was an ugly ass design. I hated it. Yeah, no way. Megaurna, it's a weird Pokemon. Again, I have no idea. I have any opinion of that. Marshadow is actually pretty cool. You can like steal all of your opponent's like stat boosts, and I think that's like very viable. I think it's like ghost fighting or something like that, which is pretty neat. It's a neat typing. There aren't really a lot of overlapping common resistances. I think like dark, you're not weak to dark, but you're still weak to psychic. And you're still weak to ghost, and you're still weak to flying and fairy. So like there's still a lot of weaknesses out there, but it's a super cool Pokemon, I think. Zeraora, I really don't have an opinion about this. I think it's pretty cool. It's a neat mythical Pokemon or legendary Pokemon. It's electric type, which is always a plus. And it's really fast. But it really, I didn't even get to like catch this in the games at all. So the same goes for Marshadow. So I'm not like particularly leaning either way. I think they're good, they're solid, but they're not like something that I'd really fight for. I mean, like you look at a lot of the Pokemon in the C tier, they're like good Pokemon. I don't hate them per se. They're not as good as their counterparts, like in the case of Suicune or this Zapdos. But I think like some of them are like straight up trash, but not like competitively unviable, like Hoopa Unleashed, or Palkia, or this weird ball-looking Deoxys. They've got their uses, I guess. And that brings me to Meltan, literally useless. It's like Cosmo. Gigantamax Melmetal, which I think is super cool. Melmetal's a pure steel type, like Reggie Steel. And I really think that's an awesome thing. It looks really powerful. I like its concept. It's only obtainable in Pokemon Go, and then you transfer it to your other Pokemon games. So yeah, I really do like Melmetal a lot. And Meltan. Sorry, Melmetal, not Meltan. Yeah, no, this is pretty good. I like the way that they're designed. Although I'm gonna put Meltan above Gmax Meltan. Right there. Yeah, just a slight difference. I'd put Darkrai above all these, actually. Maybe above Lugia. Yeah. Moltres, I'm sorry. Moltres is just such a dope Pokemon. I really like the red and black design. I think they borrowed enough from original Moltres without making it look like a cheap ripoff. It was pretty good balancing. Trash. AIDS. Bottom tier. It's a fairy type. So in Sword and Shield, they give the pathetic fairy type, the sprinkly sparkle dust Pokemon, the offensive stats. Pathetic, first thing. Second thing, what are these little ribbon things on its back? How, like, when you give it a sword, like the broken sword or whatever, it gets these extra design outlets. It gets this weird ability where it immediately gets a 1 attack boost into switching in every time, which is broken. It's Fairy Steel, which is the best type combo in the game. It does double damage to Dynamax Pokemon. Its signature move is a Steel type move, which is really good against some of the Pokemon that are in the game right now, like Calyrex and Xerneas. It's such a dumb, broken Pokemon, and the fact that it's fairy type means that every time I see this dog, I want to beat it with a crowbar. What a pathetic Pokemon. On the opposite end of the scale, Zamizenta. Fighting Steel. I don't like that the Shield Pokemon is fighting. It's supposed to be, if it's an attacking Pokemon, the fighting type, it should be Sword. Game Freak, you moron. Anyways, yeah, I think Zamizenta is infinitely better. It's not as competitively viable as Zacian, but it's not fairy type, and that makes it immediately better. Simple as that to me. I like Zamizenta a lot more. I like this regular ordinary design over the shield design. I think the shield design's a bit tacky and weird, but yeah, there you go. That's my ranking of the two Sword and Shield Pokemon. Eternatus, this is a dragon poison type. I have no idea what the hell this is. It looks like it's a Gmax version of Eternatus. I've never seen it in my life before. I'll put it, since it's probably dragon type still, it has to go in the C tier. I'll give dragon types a consideration. They're just innately better than any fairy type will ever hope to be, period. And then Eternatus, I think it's this weird looking design. It's supposed to be. It's an alien Pokemon. But it's dragon and poison, so it'll be here. Very nice. It'll sit there nice and cuddled. Urshifu, again, there's a lot of Pokemon now that are legendary and they evolve. I think Game Freak really has moved past the legendary Pokemon don't evolve sort of thing. I think Kubfu can be here. Urshifu, I'm not 100% sure exactly where to put that. Like, Surging Strike Urshifu can go there, and then Single Strike Urshifu can probably go there. I think Single Strike Urshifu, because it's Dark type, it hits a lot harder. Single Strike. It just looks a lot cooler, a lot more menacing and powerful. I like the typing a lot. I think it's a lot more useful, Dark, and fighting, just because it covers your weakness to Psychic with Dark, and Dark's weakness to fighting. Even if you can hit with Dark type attack, you can hit with a fighting type attack for neutral. And yes, it's weak to flying. It's quadruple weak to fairy. And it's also weak to bug, I think, unless fighting is resistant. And it's got a fair number of weaknesses, obviously, but still, I think it's better than fighting and water, which have no mutual overlap. Regular Urshifu, again, yeah, Urshifu Surging Strikes. I'll put it here in the C tier. I think the Gmax version looks a lot cooler, and I'll put the Urshifu Single Strike here. There you go. Calyrex. What is that thing on its head? I never understand. It's supposed to be like a royal Pokemon, but instead of looking like a crown, this thing looks like it's got a unripe pomegranate, or sorry, unripe blueberry stuck in its head. I don't understand why the hell that's supposed to look like a crown jewel. It looks like I could pop that thing and expect like weird juices to come out. I don't like how it looks. Also, it's grass psychic, and for the same reason as I didn't like Celebi, I don't like it. Regieleki is cracked. The thing is the fastest Pokemon in the game, base 200 speed, but it's electric type. It's a Regi. It's so cool. It looks like a light bulb. I think it's a very ingenious design. Straight to A tier to me. I think is deserving of being in A. It's a pretty nice Pokemon. Regidrago, S tier. I think it's such a nice Pokemon. I know people say it looks like Charizard, but I mean, it's got the weird little nose poke thingamabobs in there. It's not supposed to be Charizard directly. But I really think that, like, it's a dragon Pokemon. Finally, another dragon legendary, Regidrago. It matches up with the other Regis perfectly. It's got a lot of HP. It's got perfect defense in physical and special attack, just like dragon type attacks are naturally bound to have, like Outrage or Draco Meteor, stuff like that. So yeah, I really think it's a dope Pokemon. And it's one of my favorite types, so obviously up there. Zarude, more like Zarude Sandstorm. Lol. Yeah, no. It's C tier. I don't really care for much. Grass and Dark is not a good combo. And finally, Thunderous. I think Thunderous Therian is pretty cool. I think it looks super cool. I don't know what the hell that is, but I think it looks neat. Regular Thunderous, I don't like it just because it's got the Prankster or Defiant ability, and both of those are just such cheese moves in a metagame. And like they had to be actively nerfed after like some guy lost in like a whole bunch of series of unlucky draws. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put Thunderous like in lower down the C tier. So there you go. That's the official comprehensive Krishna certified Pokemon tier list. I will probably go back and add funny commentary. At least I'll try to add funny commentary periodically throughout this entire thing. But that's the box standard tier list version of how I rank all this stuff. I think with the base tier, it's undisputable. These things really are some of the best stuff in Pokemon. You know what? I'm gonna move Darkrai and Moltres up there. They deserve that. They're just so good. But the rest, I think I'm pretty solid with the way I rank them. There's a lot of Pokemon in here. Game Freak makes a lot of legendaries every year. And some of those are total trash. Zation, I'm looking at you stupid piece of shit. But some of them are pretty cool, like Solgaleo, like Dialga, like Giratina, like Yveltal, etc., etc. So yeah, there it is. This is the confirmed objective opinion of the entire community. I speak for everyone in existence who has ever played Pokemon. Source, I made it the fuck up. What are you gonna do? Tell me I'm wrong?